fascism, and is Trump a fascist? What is fascism? A term often used but rarely understood. In this video, we'll define fascism, explore its rise in 20th century Europe, and examine how some compare it to recent political movements, including the rise of Donald Trump in the United States. Fascism is a far-right authoritarian political ideology, characterized by dictatorial power, forcible suppression of opposition, and strong regimentation of society and the economy. The word comes from the Latin fasces, a bundle of rods symbolizing strength through unity. It was used as a symbol by Mussolini's Italy. Fascism emphasizes nationalism above all, a rejection of liberal democracy, centralized autocratic leadership, and often a belief in racial or cultural superiority. Fascism rose in Europe after World War I during times of political chaos, economic hardship, and social unrest. In 1922, Italy, Benito Mussolini came to power capitalizing on nationalist fervor and fear of socialism. He established a one-party state and glorified the power of the state over people's individual freedom. Adolf Hitler's Nazi regime came to power in Germany by following a similar path, seizing on economic despair, anti-Semitism, and national humiliation after World War I. By 1933, Hitler was chancellor, and within months, democratic institutions were dismantled. Spain created a fascist-aligned dictatorship under Franco after fighting a brutal civil war. Each case of fascism in Europe involved propaganda and myth-making, demonization of political enemies, and militarization of society. These regimes caused catastrophic global conflict and human suffering, culminating in World War II and the murder of almost 6 million Jews over a 4-year period during the Holocaust. After 1945, fascism as a political regime collapsed. It was discredited by its association with war crimes and genocide. However, elements of fascist ideology such as extreme nationalism, authoritarianism, and the suppression of dissent have lingered in various forms. Scholars today often debate what constitutes neo-fascism, especially when analyzing contemporary politics. Since Donald Trump's rise to the presidency in 2016 and 2020, some commentators and scholars have drawn comparisons between aspects of his leadership style and fascist tendencies. Key comparisons include nationalism, such as his America First rhetoric, which echoes nationalist themes found earlier in Europe. Strongman persona, with a focus on charisma, strong policing, and disdain for traditional political norms. Media attacks such as labeling the press the enemy of the people and saying all news stories which he doesn't like are just fake news, all mirror tactics used by authoritarian regimes. Populism and scapegoating. Like fascist leaders of the past, Trump has used populist appeals and targeted groups like immigrants, political opponents, or groups that think differently. However, there are important distinctions between fascist leaders of the past and Donald Trump. First, the U.S. remains a constitutional democracy with checks and balances. Second, Trump was elected democratically and left office in 2020, even though to this day he has not accepted this loss. Third, there has been no formal dismantling of democratic institutions, such as those that took place in 20th century fascist regimes. Historians like Madeleine Albright and Timothy Snyder have warned of fascist-like patterns. Others argue it's misleading or alarmist to equate Trump with historical fascism. Understanding fascism isn't just about history. It's about recognizing how authoritarianism can emerge, even in democratic societies like the United States of America. By learning from the past, we can better protect democratic norms and institutions in the present. Fascism thrives in times of fear and division. Whether in the 1930s Europe or today, it's up to informed citizens to ask hard questions, challenge abuses of power, and defend democratic values. Bringing this into our current time and place, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist, a political patriot fighting for democracy, or maybe something totally new? You decide, and then take action. Vote. Support whereiwas.com.